Hi. So once again, riding today. I don't know where to. We're just out on a ride, and hope you liked what you saw just before this. I was just thinking that we do ride in groups, we do ride solo, but have you ever thought that if we get stuck somewhere, or like when you're riding, if your motorbike breaks down, which it should not, if you're taking care of it on a regular basis, like getting it serviced, making sure that whenever you ride, keeping an eye for any issues that you may face. It's always better to understand your motorbike. As I always say, that motorbike, it's like you on the motorbike. If you take care of it, it does take care of you, and you don't break down. But thinking, like, recently I met few people and they were like, what do you suggest, what do we buy, how do you decide when you buy a motorcycle, or like they were generally asking me, if we give you an option to buy a motorcycle, what would you do? Would you be interested in buying, would you be interested in buying something which is like cheap, which gives you a better average? What do you do in general? So I was like, it's not about the cost. Cost factor comes a bit later, but it's more about how much you like a bike. And if you ask me more, I would say that you should also be seeing the service cost that each of these motorcycles that you are preferring to buy would bring in with you. Yeah, so service cost and the parts availability, that's something that you should really look at. If you're buying a tourer, for example a Royal Enfield, or if you're also planning to go for the Mahindra Java, which is just launched. uh, Sounds a cool bike. Both the bikes are really good to tour around, and few people also like the Yamaha R15, R1, or the KTM. Many people I've seen nowadays touring around with the Bajaj Dominar too. But I think, like, what would you prefer? Like, they were asking me again, what would you prefer? So I was like, I would again. So I've been riding a Royal Enfield. I would prefer a Royal Enfield even now, going before. And then the reason being, why do I prefer a Royal Enfield? It's more about, like, you start riding a bike and you know how it performs. Plus, uh, it's about how easily can I get my bike serviced, or how easily can I get someone to look at my bike when it breaks down. For now I'm riding this road. I don't know if there is a service center here or there is a local mechanic, but I am sure that if my bike breaks down here, if it's a very normal thing like a clutch cable breaking or a puncture, which I carry when I go on long rides, I carry a puncture kit. I have an extra clutch cable fit here in my bike right now, so I know to change that. And I would say thanks to Royal Enfield for conducting the DIY sessions from time to time, which tells you how to do the basic maintenance of your bike to make sure that it happens and it runs very nicely. But if I speak about the service centers availability, I can even call the Royal Enfield helpline, which is a 24/7 helpline, which is easily accessible from any mobile number when you're traveling, no matter where you are, and they do provide the service. For example, if they know where you are, you give them a location, they would see if there is any service center nearby, and they will make sure that someone from that service center gives you a call. Or else, if you have a RSA subscribe, you can always call them. They will come, they'll pick up your bike and take you to the nearest service center out there. Even if you don't have an RSA, well and good. The only thing is you would need to pay for the pickup, that's it. Otherwise, it's free of cost if you have an RSA subscribe with Royal Enfield. Speaking about the technicians availability, so as I just said while I was speaking, if I am riding and I see a local technician, because it's in Royal Enfield, I know the technician would be knowing as how to get a issue resolved, because like, they know, they are local mechanics, and Royal Enfield is something that's been in the system for a long time. Like, in on the roads, people prefer on the roads more and more. That's how it is. So possibly you can see how Royal Enfield is on the roads. Same thing, if you ask me to buy Java, I would buy it, but again, going on a long rides, I would still think of it, because the service network is still coming up, the dealership is still coming up. So I don't know how to get my bike fixed if I'm on the road and I want to fix the bike. I don't know how do I do that from time to time. So That's something that I would always prefer to ride a Royal Enfield when I am right now. Apart from this, when I speak about Royal Enfield, I always speak about the 820 plus dealers that they have and the service center. So parts availability, the spare parts. It's quick. Like maybe if you see a motorcycle spare part dealers on your way, and if you forgot to buy something, I'm pretty sure that they would have a spare part, a basic spare parts for a Royal Enfield, not for some major issues with your bike, but for a basic spare parts you will find it across the country, no matter where you are. I'm right now in Mumbai itself, driving around on a local road, but I would still say that if I am at any local store, I find a local motorcycle spare parts store, I go there, I can always find a Royal Enfield spare parts there. So overall, I would still say that you should prefer something which, like a Royal Enfield, which is readily serviceable. Any local mechanic can get your service done, and you don't have to worry much if you're going on a long ride from time to time. So yeah, that's what. So enjoy the rest of the video and do subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.